Hi guys, Tugu here with a new video, and this video will be actually explaining, or at least responding to a lot of comments actually asking me what is the best way to start PvPing, to start learning how to PvP and correctly PvP. And I'm going to respond it with this video, and I want to give you my opinion about it and how I would learn PvP if I had to start from scratch. It's going to be quite a short video, hopefully, so I can have my point across. And if you have any other question on how you are learning to PvP and you are like stuck, or there is something going on, please comment below so I can help you on your journey to learn to PvP, so we can have more players on World of Warcraft and have it the most popular game ever. Anyways, so on a few streams, few videos I make, there's always like some comments like actually asking me how to learn PvP, and often not I have always the same cookie cutter like answer. But I feel like it's better if I can actually explain it onto a video. I think personally, learning PvP through battlegrounds is probably the worst form of how to learn to PvP. I think it is way too chaotic. There's way too many things going on the screen. There's way too many things going on like on the map that you can't really learn anything. You're just playing, you're going through the motions instead of like actively learning what specs or classes are doing X, Y, Z. So I'm going to actually give you a step-by-step, I would say, thing to learn to PvP. The fast way is you play every single class. And I say fast way, it's not really fast way, because you do need to spend time leveling alts, leveling those characters up, do some PvP with it, learn to read the tooltips, learn to experiment builds and such. And that is like time consuming, but it does make you learn PvP the fastest, because you do know and recognize spells. If you do not know what's happening with time anomaly, for example, well, you're out of luck. If you don't know what Doom Winds is on Enhancement Shaman, then you're going to get one-shotted. If you do not know what Shadow Blades is and Shadow Dance on a Rogue, and they're doing like a big attack, well, like for example, Secret Techniques or AVC rates now hitting and critting for 120k, well, you are going to also get one-shotted. If you do not know what to kick, because if you're like playing versus Destruction Warlock and you do not really know that kicking Chaos Bot is probably the most smartest kick you can do, but they can just hold on to it and just incinerate you and still do a lot of damage. So you also have to know when to kick or what to kick and what to stop. If they're like using Unending Resolve, please use stuns, use fears, try to stop it and make it like something wasted. All those things are learned if you're playing the game actively with the classes and specs, or you can also take the longer approach, but it can be fast because again you are playing, so you're directly into the game, but it's the longer approach because you have to experiment versus multiple specs and classes into the arena. And there's a lot of people that say that Soul Shuffle and threes are the best environment to learn to PvP. I would say no, that's not true, because there's too much going on the screen. It's way too chaotic. There's a second DPS with a healer, 3v3, so you have to depend on them. CC is like something you get for free in 3v3, and it's very hard to track anything if you're not experienced, especially if you do not have weak auras. You could download a weak aura from Mez, where you have everything on the screen. Personally, I do not use it because I don't like screen clutter and I feel like it's not appealing for me. And I play games like League of Legends and I feel like I do not need to have weak auras to tell me what's going on. I just have my eyes, and if I get caught because of it, I will learn from it. But that's my opinion and that's my way to play. It's not the correct way to play though. I think if you have weak auras, you are in a serious advantage, and how you play, like for example myself, is a serious disadvantage because you're not using the tools that add-ons can give. But you have multiple add-ons like big debuffs, you have omnibar and such. All of this is discussed in my video settings and add-ons that I made a few months ago, so please do check that out. I'm not going to discuss add-ons this video because it will make it like a 30 or 40 minute video, and I do not really want that because people are like not watching the whole video anyways. So the best way to learn how to PvP is first and foremost level and also play all classes and specs. That's not really an option for everyone. Not everyone likes to level, not everyone likes to like waste time doing something that they don't like. That's all right. Watch videos. If you watch videos and you watch guides from those specs, I know it's also time consuming, but it's a lot less than, let's say, leveling yourself. If you're watching my guides, or you're watching guys from Subtlety, or you're watching guys from Rework or whatever, often or not, they do explain actually everything behind the scenes of that class. For example, my BM Hunter spec, I do explain how the rotation works and when is the burst rotation possible, and when are you looking for traps, whenever you're looking for burst, when are you looking to kite and do damage. I do explain it. So without playing BM Hunter, you have a clear idea on, look, he has barbed shots, he can get Beast of Wrath quite fast, and we have to stop by doing CCs, because if you're doing the CC at the right time, the barbed stacks, frenzy stacks are going to drop off, and their DPS are going to be lower. All those things are discussed in those videos. Or if you're looking Retribution Paladin guides from me, but from like 10.1, or from let's say Paladin, for example, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing correctly, but if you're watching his guide, you pretty much know what's going on, because there he explains like from A to Z what spells does what, and what he is looking for to do damage, what is he looking for to actually run away. All those things are actually very important. I feel like you can learn a lot by watching videos. But that's all, everything is around outside of PvP. What can you do just by playing the game? Well, I would suggest to actually play 2v2. I think 2v2 is the best environment to learn PvP, because it's only you and a healer, or you with another DPS versus a DPS and healer, or a DPS double DPS. Double DPS comps versus double DPS comps, you're not going to learn too much. I think it's very bursty. But if you're playing with a healer, if you're lucky to find a healer, you can learn a lot, especially if the healer is very patient, or if you are the healer and you're very patient, you're going to for sure be able to play. If you're a healer main, I would suggest to still play a lot of 2v2. I think the dynamics are a bit slower, you have more control, you can do CC, you can do some damage, you can use your CDs correctly. Dampening is in effect at 30%, so it means that whenever you're going to do 3v3 and solo shuffle, you will be feeling empowered. I feel like it's a very good environment to actually learn how to PvP. And in general, I'm not like a 2v2 fan. Now I'm kind of playing more 2v2 because I do love that kind of slower pace right now. And I'm kind of also using it for capping. And I have a friend, he's playing with me, and we don't really have a third in real life friend actually playing right now the game. And it feels chill to play, right? It's also easier to find a mate in 2v2 than in 3v3. In 3v3, they are more like, I would not say elitist, but they really want a comp that they want to play. And if you want to play turbo and you're like a hunter, and you're actually trying to queue up for like the turbo comp, so there's an enhancement shaman and a healer, he's likely going to say no because he wants a warrior, for example. But in 2v2, if you're a healer, it doesn't really matter if you want to play with a hunter, a warrior, or a feral druid and such. You have more choices, I would say. Yes, some comps are like a less viable in twos, but you can just win games because of like a chess movement. Because I think 2v2 is more checkers than chess. It's pretty much like I put you in a discomfort position and I will win because of that. I think 2v2 is great to actually recognize damage profiles, CC profiles. Whenever you are like on details, you can see what is going on, like what is actually damaging the most, like ability wise. Look, I got hit by like a big roar, I don't even know what it is. You click on details, again it's an add-on, please download details, it's one of the best add-ons here. And you can just go on thunderous roar, and you can just like, for example, it's a roar, right? You see like a shockwave movement. You're kind of reading through the tooltips because you've never played Arms Warrior, right? You're reading motion like, oh, okay, it's reducing your effectiveness of healing. Quite interesting, right? Overpower. It cannot be blocked, dodged, or parried, so it's like for sure going to damage you. But there is also Turner's Roar. Here, roar explosively. It looks like the shockwave that we kind of see, and it did a lot of damage, and also I got a bleed from it. Now you understand where the damage is coming from, and you also see the damage profiles. They had, for example, Fury Warrior, because he got like really wrecked, but my Rampage is 35% of my damage, and then Crushing Blow doing 20% of my damage, and then melees, and then you can actually see where the damage is coming from and what is actually happening in the game. And I think in 2v2 you have much more freedom to experiment and to actually like come back from games that you kind of lose. While in 3v3, if you are on the back foot, you're going to stay on the back foot most of the time, especially if you're like still learning the game. And again, I want to emphasize, I know 2v2 is not the most rewarding bracket to play because you do not get a cool mount. You do, like, again, glad titles doesn't exist. But if you're learning the game, you're not going for mounts anyways, right? You're trying to learn the game. You're trying to like put your foot into the water and feel the temperature. And I think it's better to feel the temperature in 2v2 where the bath is not like steaming hot. While, for example, in 3v3, it is literally a steam bath. Like, you're going to jump out of the bath because you didn't really understand the hotness of the bath, so you're going to not come back because of that, right? While, for example, if you're going into the bath and the temperature is going to go up and up and up, but very still, you're not going to jump out. You're going to feel like the temperature is changing, but you're not going to feel like you're getting like burned because of it. It's the same like experiment where they throw a toad into the water, like a steaming hot water, and he touched that water and he just jumped out, right? But if you put a toad into a cold bath and you warm him up until a point where it's as warm as a steaming bath, he's going to stay and most likely die because of it, because that's the experiment, by the way. He's just not going to jump, he's not going to notice it, and he's going to die. But anyways, so that's pretty much what I'm saying. Like, you have to keep on the levels, and I think the best way is 2v2, and I would say BGs, why not, or RBGs as well, but you're not going to learn any mechanics from spells and classes and such. You're going to learn how to team play, but in 2v2 you're going to learn how specs work, how they are performing, how they are doing damage, what to interrupt, what to not interrupt, what to CC, what to not CC. The DRs also, because you're the only one stunning the main target, for example, so you know that every 30 seconds the DRs are going to fall off, for example. So all the things are very important for you to understand, and that's something that you have to learn, and I think in 2v2 it is the best way to learn. So I'm going to recap it very quickly. What are the best ways to learn how to PvP? Currently it is leveling alts in classes and play them and reading those tooltips and have a feel on how do you do damage, how do you do CC, how are you enabled to do damage, how are you not enabled to do damage, or what is happening whenever you're not doing damage, are you going to survive or not. All those things can be learned the quickest by playing. Of course, it is not the quickest in time consuming things, because you have to level everything, you have to PvP with everything, you have to gear everything, because without gear you're going to get one-shotted, and you're going to learn like that. There is also another option, again, like I said, you're not playing, you're watching videos, you just watch guides. Type BM Hunter PvP guide, type Frost Mage PvP guide, Frost DK PvP guide, Unholy DK PvP guide, and often not great guides. You're going to probably smell it from like the first minute, right? Hopefully you do smell it with mines, because I do put efforts into my PvP guides. You can basically learn a spec without playing, because they do explain what is happening, and sometimes some people are not explaining. For example, if it's a season 2 guide, often we're not going to explain what a spell does, because a recklessness is not going to change from season 1 to season 2. But in season 1 we do explain what is happening. For example, Avatar and Recklessness and Odin's Fury and Spear of Bash and all of the things, we do kind of explain it and how they work and how it is, and what is happening on the screen as well. How do you do damage? How do you CC? When are you going to look for damage? When are you going to look for CC? When do you have to kite? All the things are like kind of learned into those PvP guides, right? Hopefully. And I think mines kind of do that, but again, I'm not making guides for every single spec. If you do not know how Devastation work, please watch Devastation PvP guide. That's how it is. You can also learn it by playing. That's the third way. Just play the game in 2v2, find a healer, find a DPS if you're a healer, and try to go through the motions. And yeah, some comps are more like brain dead because it is like double DPS, and like it's the one that is going to get killed the first that is going to win. I mean, vice versa, right? So if you're killing the guy first, you're going to win. Like for example, double windwalker. You're not going to learn anything from windwalker, but the matches where you can learn something from windwalkers are probably windwalker with a healer, right? Exactly, right. So the matches are a bit longer, and you know what is happening on your screen, and you know that the matches are not going to end in one mistake often than not. But try to find a friend that knows how to PvP, or you can also learn with a friend PvP. In 2v2, I think it's more chill than in 3s and in Soul Shuffle. I do love Soul Shuffle, I do love 3v3, I do love RPGs, but I do not think it's a great environment to actually learn how to PvP. Anyways, so that's a recap. Hopefully you kind of learned how to start PvPing. I'll try to hopefully make some gameplay videos while you are listening to me, but I'm not really sure if I can do that. If I have time, but just in general, I think it's a fantastic time to actually learn how to PvP, especially since honor gear is like right out of the corner. I made a like video on how to gear, so please do check that out. For crafting and such, you can just type on Google how to craft, like for example the like boots, for example this one, Inferious War Boots of Impunity. How do you get it to 450 eye level? You can type it on Google and you will find it. I will maybe make a video about it, but I feel like there's many videos about it anyways, so you can also check that out on YouTube. And that's pretty much the video I wanted to make. I wanted to actually explain how to PvP effectively, and this transmog is really sick, man. I really love the honor gear transmogs. But anyways, thank you for watching this video. Really appreciate you. If you want a tier list for 2v2 and you're looking for a class that you're playing, I made a class guide, ultimate class guide for 10.1. I made also a tier list for 2v2, so you can also just jump right in and play, and hopefully you do learn the game because of that. There's also a lot of ways to learn the game outside of playing the game, so check information. I think information is very big in 2023, so I feel like you're not going to be lost. You just have to type something on Google and you'll find it. That's pretty much how it works. So thank you for watching this video. Really appreciate you. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet, and we will catch each other very soon in the next video. Have a good day. Bye.